Hello, I'm Scott. Today I'm going to share with you study plan to prepare for the International English Language Testing System. Now, as you may know, my main focus is on test speak. But a lot of what I will discuss today can also be applied to all four skills: speaking, writing, listening, and of course reading. And to both modules, the general and the academic modules. So today I'll be looking at the two key elements of preparation to test. First, you need to focus how much time you really need. Second, what to do then if you only have 2 months or more. Now, in an ideal world, right, you would probably have a year to prepare for test. There'd be no pressure, you can take your time. And you'll have a teacher giving you strategies and great tips. You could increase your level of English. And you could learn about the test, and then you could book your test and then pass the test. Right now that's the ideal world, but we know that sometimes life gets in the way, right? Maybe you have deadlines for university application, or family circumstances for immigration. That mean you need to do test as soon as possible. So I'm here to help, so I hope these study plans will help you prepare better for the test. So you're not wasting time. There are 2 things you need to focus on. The first one is your overall level of English. The second one is your understanding and knowledge of the test and how the test works. The most important thing is actually the first, it's their overall level of English, and I would recommend to students to spend probably 70% of their time focusing on improving their overall level of English, and 30% on exam technique and maybe some exam practice. Now, unfortunately, most students do the opposite. They focus on the exam technique, the tips, the format, and not enough on their language skills. You know, for example, asking questions like, well, how long should my answers be in part 1? Which tense should I use in part 2? Can I give personal examples in part 3? Now, these are important questions, right? But they're much less important compared to your overall ability to speak English. That's where you should be focusing. It's a bit like if you bought a product in a shop. And the packaging is very beautiful, it's very attractive, it looks expensive and nice. And then you open up, and the product itself is low quality, it's no good, so the wrapping, it's like the tips, the little bits of the tips, and techniques of test. But inside your products is your language skills, and are low quality. The examiner is not going to buy your products. So focus most of your time and energy on your overall language skills. But you still need to know, how much time do you need to prepare for test? Let me show you how. It's a bit different for everybody, but let's imagine. So there's 2 things, right? There's the level of language and the testability. Let's imagine your level of language is already at the level you need. You need a band 7, and your language ability is already band 7. Then you will probably need 6 to 8 weeks to prepare for the test, understanding the test, and doing test practice. I'm talking about all 4 skills, to understand how the writing works, to do some practice, and the reading, the listening, and the same to understand how speaking works, and to do some practice, but everybody's a bit different, more or less. Now, if your language level is not at the level you need, so you need a band 7, but your level is actually band 6, then in addition to those 6 to 8 weeks, you will need a lot of time to get your level language ability up. Cambridge Assessment, who create the test, gives some very good guidance. They say that approximately, it takes 200 hours of guided learning to move up one level. Like A1 to A2, or B1 to B2, is similar very approximately to one level in test 200 hours. To go from a band 6 to a band 7 approximately. So that means, let's have a look, right? If you study 6 hours a week, over 9 months, that will be 216 hours. 6 hours a week, for 9 months you could get up one level. That is probably the realistic situation. You could study more intensely. For example, if you're studying 20 hours a week, then in 10 weeks you've covered 200 hours. So theoretically, you could move up that language level in 200 hours in 10 weeks. On top of that, you need to do your exam preparation. So remember, you have to separating language ability and preparation for the test exam technique. That is the realistic situation. Of course, it depends a bit on you, your learning style, and your learning ability, your background, the environment of English that you're in, if you can immerse yourself in English or not, and the tools you have available, as well if we're talking just about speaking test. If you already have the level of language you need, like Band 7, you could probably just prepare for the test, like the test technique, in a week. I would say you'd probably need 1 week to understand how the speaking test works, and at least another week of intense practice for the speaking test. So your next question is, how do I know what my language level, the real level of language ability, right? Well, I suggest for everybody to begin your preparation with a mock test. Now, this can be a full mock test of the 4 skills or just a mock test for your speaking skills if you're just focused on speaking test. The mock test can reveal your real language level ability. The feedback you get will tell you how much of that is language and how much is exam technique. Now, let's move on to those study plans. So let's have a look at study plans. Remember, my focus is on speaking, so these are speaking study plans. First, you can make some progress in 2 months or more. Definitely you can level up your English speaking ability. So, make your work fun work, not a hard work. Don't sit with your book for hours and hours. Enjoy your study, take a break every half hour. Let's begin then with a 2-day study plan. So what are you going to do in 2 days? I would say it's kind of a quick immersion. Try and spend at least 3 hours each day. And basically, you're going to be looking at a quick review of the format of the test. Understand how part 1, 2, and 3 work, and also get some tips, templates, and strategies that will be fresh in your head, and you can probably use in your test. In the next few days, the whole plan is below. You can watch that, but just a quick overview videos about self-promotion. So you would look at how to introduce yourself fluently. An introduction video to templates for part 2 can be really useful, very quick, help you. And finally, the video about part 3 is probably the best one to look at. To get up to date on part 3 and how that works, you think the other important things to do. Maybe on the final day or the second day, to think about your mindset and to do a practice mock test. Finally, I recommend the video about nerves, will help you relax and perform better. Always say, I can do this, I believe in myself, my English is good, I'm going to enjoy this test, it's really help. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel.